So I have been meaning to do a Yule video for a long time. Um, shit, did I lose the remote again? Um, I'm so bad. I can't believe I keep setting it down. There it is. I am so crazy, insane, busy right now that it's been a little weird and hard um, to come on and do it. Damn it, I'm on the wrong channel. I have like 5 different YouTube channels now. But I wanted to come on to Yule video. Hello, hi Doug. And since Yule is a week from today, I figured it's kind of now or never. And tonight is Tarot Tuesday in an hour and 15 minutes, so I wanted to come on and do a quick Yule video. I always do a video about the upcoming Sabbath before you. Well, I always try. I'm trying to remember if I may have missed a couple, but I try to at least give some ideas of what the upcoming Sabbath is about, and how I celebrate, how other people might celebrate, some of the traditions and the customs and where it came from and that kind of thing. Plus, her admins have been asking if she was doing one. I know my admins have been on saying, is it coming on? Is it? And reminding me when I say that I'm going to do it Thursday, that Thursday I have the shadow work video. And it's kind of a busy week. So hi Court. Did you change your picture, Courtney? Or am I just now noticing? So here we are for the Yule video. So let's talk about, no, you're just now noticing, that's definitely possible. Yule is, for pagans, Yule is the winter solstice. It is the longest night of the year, meaning it's for about 3 days right around Yule. It's the time where the sun is tilted furthest away from the sun, or the poles are, the sun is tilted away from the sun. Did you know that? The North Pole is tilted furthest away from the sun. And so for about 3 days, it looks like the sun is rising at the same place. And so it really is the longest night of, we're so gifted with speech, I know, right? The longest night of the year, and the shortest day is the day after. And so to me, it's always been kind of a very solemn, not solemn, that's wrong, it's reverent. Like I treat it very reverently. Hi, Heart's Journey. It is a time where our ancestors who were pagan would light candles and sing all night and spend the night up together, because they were worried that the sun wouldn't come back if they did not welcome the sun back to the world. It had been getting so dark and was dark for so long. Hello, honey. Oh, look. Wait. Well, I've been meaning to send you a picture. It's just been crazy. Thank you, sweetheart. I haven't even had a chance to really look at them yet, but thank you. Thank you. But it was a time when farming and when you had to gather your own food, and when people had to survive the long winters. It was a time when it started getting so dark that people wondered if the sun would ever return. And so they began to gather together on the longest night to sing and dance and light the sun's return so that the sun remembered to come back. And so that's kind of where the whole thing started. There's lots of places around the world that have very, like ancient places that have very specific elements in them for the solstices. Places like Stonehenge, places like, yeah, right? Oh, yeah, if the sun will ever return. Here too, we do too, for sure. We are live. Hi, Leanne. There are lots of places where there's a specific sunbeam that will light a very specific spot. And that tells them, it's like a calendar, a living calendar that has been up for centuries. And it tells them that it is the time of the solstice. So there's lots of places around the world like that. As pagans, we celebrate this time in a lot of different ways. I always have, I think I showed my Yule altar back here, but I always have an altar. Actually, there's not as many candles on there as there will be. But I start out when it starts to get dusk, I light one candle, and as it gets darker and darker, I light more candles, and then I keep candles going all night. I stay awake all night as per the tradition. And usually I will play music and help the sun to rise in the morning. When the sun finally comes up, then it begins the celebration, knowing that we made it through the longest night. There's so many great stories about Yule. I'm going to let some of my my admins and some of my people from our circle read some stories and stuff. We're going to have a celebration with many of the people in my circle are going to stay awake at my house this year for Yule. So we'll probably come on and do a couple videos if they're comfortable with that. But it's really much more of a stately occasion. It's, again, I keep using the word solemn. To me, it's not solemn. It's very reverent, though. It's much more quiet until the sun rises again. Then it can become, a celebration. But I usually don't do a whole lot of like ritual and stuff for the winter solstice, because to me it's a time of reflection and meditation, and it's still fun. It's still nice. But it's very much about reflecting through the year, right? Because we know that the new year is here. So there are traditionally through the Norse path. Here comes the sun. Yes, I love that. That's on my winter solstice playlist. I think I've posted already this year my winter solstice playlist. I'll try to remember to post it when we're done tonight. I started working on EFT training. Yay! Oh, that's great, Leanne. I love it. That's wonderful. I also have a playlist for pagan carols. I have a whole Pinterest board that has sheets and sheets of the words for pagan carols, which go with the traditional carols, but it changes the words a little bit to make more sense to pagans. So I will try to remember to post that in the Facebook group. Yay! And so traditionally there's 12 nights of Yule. In the Norse tradition especially, they celebrate 12 nights of Yule. Hi, Thomas. They start the day before the solstice is the first night of Yule. Now there's lots of different like celebrated days in December. It traditionally was like a whole month of celebration. Yesterday was St. Lucia's Day, St. Lucia's Day. Saturnalia starts December 17th, which was the day, I always loved the stories about Saturnalia. That was the day that the masters, the rich people, would invite their servants to dinner, and they would serve them for the day. They would like switch roles for the day, so the servants got to be waited on for the day, and that's how the masters or the rich people would show their love and appreciation for their servants. So Saturnalia, which was celebrated for a whole week, but the first night of Saturnalia, they did that. All right, Doug, we'll be on at 7:30 for the last Tarot Tuesday, which don't miss it because giveaway. So there's lots and lots of different separate days that are celebrated, but there was 12 nights of Yule traditionally in the Norse tradition, which I celebrate, starting with the day before the winter solstice, which this year is the winter solstice is on Tuesday. So Monday is going to be Mother's Night, or Madranit. That is the night that's dedicated to all the female goddesses and all of your female ancestors, those that you knew and those that you didn't know. It's where we celebrate all of the female side of our family and the goddesses that we look up to, is on Mother's Night. So Mother's Night is Monday, a week from yesterday. And I have such a crazy week. I think Mother's Night this year, we're going to have to do a sale for the shop. So I will try to, I'm not going to promise, I will try to do something for Mother's Night. But I think we're going to end up doing a sale for the shop. And so I'm not certain that I'll be on to do something for Mother's Night, but I will try to post something in the Facebook group to remind you all that it's Mother's Night, and you should light a candle. You should say a special prayer. Just do something to honor the women of your ancestry. I think I'll be going for a Christmas walk with my mom on Christmas Day, then probably spending much of the rest of the day watching ghost stories. Yay! That sounds like a nice Christmas tradition. And then Tuesday is Yule, the winter solstice, the longest night. And so, again, I'll be staying up. We have several people that are going to be being here for a sleepover, which is not a sleep thing. What is your Yule playlist called? It is on my other YouTube channel, my personal YouTube channel, and it's called Yule. Hold on, I'll go find it and post it really quick. I think I posted it once in the group, but let me switch accounts here. It's because I use several different accounts. I have my personal one where I have lots of like weird videos. That's where I watch weird videos, that I have nothing to do with my channel. Let me see here. Oh, here it is. It always takes me a while to remember where the heck stuff is with the new YouTube. It looks so different. Here it is. I got it. All right, share, copy, and will it? Oh yeah, there we go. Paste. There's, we watch all those weird videos. Yes, we all do, for sure. I'll be up all night working, so I may stay up until the sun rises since my window faces the east. Yay! So did it post? I didn't check to see. Hopefully that posted. That's the Yule, my Yule playlist. And then the other one that I have is nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. I have way too many playlists. It's terrible. I have somewhere in here, I have a pagan, I'm trying to remember what I called it. A pagan carol list or something. And I don't know where it is. I have like 55. I know, way too many. It's terrible. I will post here the Pinterest page, at least for the for all of the, I put it all on one Pinterest page, all of the words for pagan Christmas carols based on, and you sing them to the tunes of regular Christmas carols. But they're all like witch words. Of course, it's going to take a minute to load. Too many. All right, so that is the... Hold on, let me do this, because if I do too many things at once, my brain will explode. It's literally, I've had so much going on, I can't keep track of it lately. It's been a little crazy. It's been a little crazy. I'm almost there. Come on, load. One more. Come on. Pagan Yule carols. There it is. Copy and paste. All right, there's the Pinterest page for the Yule carols. It's a whole Pinterest board full of Yule carols. All right, so there's several things that I wanted to read. One of the new books that I got this year for Yule, Jason Mankey wrote a Yule book for Llewellyn, which is just this one, Llewellyn's Little Book of Yule. Jason Mankey runs the pagan, or one of the pagan pages on Patheos, Patheos. And he has written quite a few books that I just love. And this one is really good. I like this. It goes through a lot of the history of Yule and a lot of his traditions about Yule, and then it goes through a bunch of the different holidays and what that means to him, and it gives you a whole bunch of different exercises to help you figure out how you'd like to celebrate Yule, which I thought was really good. It kind of gives you an idea of how to craft a calendar. Krampus night was December 5th, which we did celebrate. Then is St. Nicholas's Day, which is the 6th. Then Hanukkah starts, then the winter solstice, then Christmas Day, Kwanzaa, New Year's Day, Three Kings Day is the last day that you can possibly celebrate. Or the day after. The day after Three Kings Day is something called, it's in my other book. Is something called, I'll get there eventually. So I wanted to read about the Yule Log because we talk about the Yule Log a lot, but we never really talk about where it came from or how the tradition started. So in olden times, and this is from this book, which is, again, another Llewellyn book. I have the whole series finally of this series. I mean, it's a good series. I like this series too. My favorite series for the Sabbats, of course, is Ashley Ogaya, her series, which is for the dark half of the year and the light half of the year. I really like hers the best so far. But in olden times, the Yule log was traditionally made of oak, although a log of ash was said to bring luck and insight. The first step in preparing for the Yule log ceremony was the cleansing and blessing of the home. The women of the hearth would do this cleansing, while the oldest or senior male of the household searched for just the right log. The largest possible log was selected, which, I always think about what crazy people they looked like dragging this huge tree behind them usually. And it might take several family members to drag a really big Yule log home, after which it was trimmed to fit into the fireplace. So you're carrying this huge Yule log, and several family members have to help you carry it home, and then you trim it to go into the fireplace. Now, granted, back in those times, the hearth was a much bigger deal. It wasn't this little teeny fireplace that we think of. But we had a nice Krampus parade gathering with painted wagons saying 10th annual Krampus night. Aw, yay! That's awesome, with a screaming child. Yay! So decorative carvings were added next, often resembling the shape of a callioch, which is the crone of the Celtic tradition, the Celtic mother crone. As the embodiment of cold and death, she was tossed into the fire so that the family could watch as winter was replaced by heat and light. A ritual in keeping with the burning log's representation of the waxing solar year, winter solstice to summer solstice. The carved log was festooned with greenery and anointed with ale, mead, or whiskey. So they carved it, then they doused it in whiskey. The log was lit on solstice eve, ideally on the first try. Yeah, otherwise you were like, people picked on you. Oh, you're a loser. You can't. What's the matter with you? You can't light the Yule log on the first try, right? The fireplace went the entire length of the home. Exactly. It was much bigger than what we think of our dinky little fireplaces, for sure. I love looking at the big old fireplaces, in stories. That someday on our commune, that's what I would like to have I want to have a great hall where all of us can celebrate and eat together, and then an entire wall of a huge fireplace, for sure. Once lit, it was watched over through the night because it was not allowed to let it die. With wishes and toasts made over the log and stories told in its presence. If the Yule log burned on until morning, it was considered a most positive omen. Well, if it's doused in whiskey, you're a loser if you can't light it in the first go, right? I agree, for sure. And so you save a bit of that Yule log for the following year, and you light that your next Yule log with the bit that you saved from the previous year. And that just carries on the tradition from the previous years. Hi, Groon. How are you? It's so nice to see you on here. And so that's where the Yule log came from. And so that's why we celebrate with the Yule log. It is a tradition. We have been making Yule logs for many years in my family. Although many years don't remember where the hell we put the Yule log from the year before. So I will tell you that even though I always save a little bit, it's always a mad dash of shit. Where the hell did I put it? I try to put it in with, the Yule decorations from the year before, but I can't tell you how many years we've just had to fake it and be like, okay, this was the Yule log piece from the year before. I can't tell you how many years that's happened that I just can't find the damn thing, or I'll find it in February usually. Here's stuff about Santa actually being a hearth spirit or a spirit invited to be with the hearth over Yule, with treats to bless the home with its gifts through winter. There's so many wonderful, hi Laura, there's so many wonderful traditions and stories from this season alone that I could go on for hours and hours. I just love all the different holidays and stories, and there's some really good stories coming up. So what does it mean to be a winter celebrating pagan today? It means honoring the power and gifts of the season, which are unique and distinct from those expressed during other times of the year. It means considering the lessons winter can teach us, embracing them rather than trying to escape or deny them. It means looking deep to see true beauty of the season. Only a few of us still live our lives as farmers, so why do we continue to follow an agricultural calendar like the Wheel of the Year, which is, if those of you who know me real well know the Wheel of the Year teachings, these are my favorite things because it's cyclical in nature. It teaches us to continue in bad times, to know that the cycle will continue. It will turn over again. In good times, it teaches us to prepare for different times to come. I think that theory was favored in some circles over Santa basically being a version of Odin. Yeah, that's true. I've heard both. I like the Odin traditions. I think I like everything else. My guess is that a whole bunch of different traditions kind of meld together and create what we celebrate now, which to me is exactly what I believe. Part of my circle now, our actual traditions and tenets talk about accepting the beliefs from many and creating your own traditions from them, right? There's so many different traditions that you can choose from, that why not take the ones that you enjoy, that you get meaning from, and make that a part of your own tradition. There's so many, with Sleipnir, the 8-legged reindeer, that they say the 8 reindeer came from him. You can do a whole bunch of traditions into your own. Hi, Kay. So we do this. We celebrate still the traditions of the Wheel of the Year to tie us to the past and to the ancient peoples who followed the same rhythms. This evokes nostalgia, gives our lives depth and richness. As magical folks, the seasonal wheel provides sort of a rudder, helping us steer a strong course through the year's changing seasons, showing us how the seasons work and flow together to keep the world turning. What are the symbols of winter, and how do modern pagans and others embrace the season? We experience the beauty of the season through links to the past, present, and future, with lights, color, greenery, gifts, feasting, and more. How do we, fellow humans, magical and mundane, celebrate midwinter? And where are the connections between our ancient past and our modern practices? By understanding the rituals and lore of Yule and their magical applications, we bring the old and the new into our practices, creating a personalized approach to the holiday that honors tradition while embracing modernity. And what does it mean when modern pagans talk about Yule? It means magic. I love that the Yule Log traditions incorporate both the men and the women in the households. Yes, that both must be incorporated with it, for sure. There's, again, in my notes, it's funny, I got much more specific in my notes than I do normally during this time, because if you want to know more of those specifics, I certainly can do a teaching on that at some point. There's so many specifics that it's hard to pull out just one or two to only teach on that tradition's specifics. So this year I kind of tended to just decide to talk about them in general. Yeah, again, more specifics. And I think this year, more than anything this year, I think we need to learn to come together a little. I think that we're at an age and time that people are on such opposite ends of the spectrum that for me this year, I think Yule is more about coming together and learning how to get along a little, how to respect that we have differences of opinions, and still know that we all want the end to turn out the same. We all want everyone to be doing well. It's okay, Leanne. Bread and milk offering becomes milk and cookies. Yes. Yes. I love that. I don't know. Again, there's so many specifics that we could go through. But I don't think that's what I want to do this year. I'm really much more interested in talking about creating new things, even though I like to honor the old traditions. I think this year should be about combining all of those and knowing that from here, we have to create traditions that strengthen each other and the bond that we feel with each other, and know that in order for us to all survive and all figure this out, we have to get to a point where we can meld a little bit more. We can all bend a little bit. Hi, Christiana. So one of the things that Jason Mankey talks about, you need the old to make the new. Yes, incorporating it all into one is what we need in a true melting pot. That's right. Yes. I feel like I had that attitude and it got crushed. I hear you, MA. I know. Be as the willow, bend and not break. Exactly. So Jason talks about towards the end chapter of his book as the conclusion. He says, I believe that Yuletide is the most magical season of all. Yule encourages us to embrace our inner child, to believe in Santa, Befana, and the Krampus. It's a season of wonder and a time to contemplate divine beginnings and magical stars. Yuletide is also subversive, a time to be things we generally are not, to celebrate Christmas poopers, and to embrace the freedom that comes with self-indulgent partying. As you celebrate Yuletide, find time every year to really take it all in. Notice the various religions and spiritual observance going on around you. There's so many different spiritual observances that, yes, it must be something he talks about in the book. I'm not all the way through that. That all of us, in one form or another, seem to be celebrating at this time of year. When at the mall, feel the chaotic energy of the season and find strength in it. Let the decorations and traditions of your family connect you with those you've lost and remind you of the previous holiday celebrations. And for those who truly love the spirit of the Yuletide season, never forget that it echoes throughout the year as the seasons change. In the spring, there's always that one forgotten or lost decoration that appears when tidying up the living room. By August, many craft stores have started putting out holiday items. As autumn begins, colder nights and shorter days whisper to us that Yuletide is fast approaching. Halloween comes and trick-or-treating brings to mind the misrule and wassails past, and let us know that Yuletide is almost nigh once more, and then holidays begin again. No matter how you celebrate, I wish you and yours a joyous Yuletide, the most magical season of them all. And I thought to close, we could go through some trivia that I thought was really interesting trivia about Yule and this time of year. Fun facts and trivia. Remember to celebrate the Christmas poopers. That's right. So you think you know all the... So this is a different Yule book by Dorothy Morrison. This is another Llewellyn series that I have most of them. I think I'm missing one, but it's an older series, so I have to keep trying to find it, on thrift books and stuff. So you think that you know all there is to know about Yule, the history and origins, and certain traditions and delights came to be? Test your knowledge by reading some of the fun facts below, and you may be surprised. Modern day astronomers, I'm not going to be able to talk tonight. Modern day astronomers say that the famous Star of Bethlehem wasn't a star at all. What was it? Dun, 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Jezebel. Yes, it was a comet. They think it was either a comet or an astronomical phenomenon caused by the conjunction of several planets at once. So they don't think it was a star. It was either a conjunction or a comet. According to historical records, the first American Christmas festivities took place in Jamestown in 1607. What were they cheering themselves up from? Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Starving and misery, dysentery. Yes, the celebration was a device to cheer up the 40 settlers who had survived living in the New World. They started out, their original number was 100. So the 40 that survived, they were like, woohoo, let's celebrate. 40 of us survived. Cheering up from being in 1606, right? Because the British Parliament felt that Christmas was a heathen holiday, what did they do in 1643? British Parliament. Flogging, paraffin, multiply. We'll need babies to work in 5 years. Yes, right? They officially abolished all related festivities. They banned Christmas in 1643. They abolished it because those damn heathens. You cannot celebrate. It's all about heathenry. For making it a working day, right? They bought strippers. Yeah. Oh, didn't they just find proof of cannibalism in Jamestown? Ooh. I did not know that. I'll have to look that up. What state was the first state in the Union to give Christmas the status of legal holiday? I still think mine is true. The men were whores. That is definitely a possibility for sure, Pookie. Virginia? Nope. New York? Nope. It is not a state that I would have expected. The historical records of 1836 show Alabama as the first state in the Union to give Christmas the status of legal holiday. Oklahoma was the last state to conform. They didn't declare it a legal holiday until 1907. That's where the other 60 went. Everyone basically treated it as a massive piss up, and the country ground to a halt, and Cromwell's Puritan heart snapped, so he had a strop like a tattler and banned Christmas. Yeah, I totally believe it. Yep. What was the first one of what that has to do with Christmas was issued in Austria in 1937? 1937 was the first Christmas what? 1937. I'm going to have oil for my nose before. Yes, stamp. Oh, very good, Emma. The first Christmas stamp. The first commemorative Christmas stamp was issued in Austria in 1937. This reindeer, which means thunder, was the original name of the reindeer who helped pull Santa's sleigh on Christmas Eve. What was the reindeer's name? Donder. Okay, you got it. Donder. Donder, not Donner, which means thunder, was the original name of the reindeer who helped pull Santa's sleigh on Christmas. He was paired with Blitzen, whose name means lightning. Good job, guys. Good job. And the original story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was written for what? It was a specific purpose that it was written for. Radio? Nope. Thor, Odin are Scandinavian, Donder, and Woden are the Germanic, respectively. Sell something. That's right. Sell something, M.A. That's true. Coca-Cola, close. Macy's, close. It was written specifically as a sales gimmick for the Montgomery Ward Company in 1939 by one of their employees, Robert L. May. The little book was given freely to every customer who shopped there during the holiday season. So that was the original use for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, was for Montgomery Ward. The candy cane first gained popularity in what kind of building? Another sales gimmick, I know. Every time I see something red for Christmas, I think Coca-Cola, right? I know it because Coca-Cola really was the way we see Santa now, right? At first, a barn, a barber, a dentist. Yep. First gained popularity in churches, where it was given as a treat to children who behaved themselves during church services. This one is kind of just a fact. I don't want to make up a trivia one about this. Eggnog wasn't always the creamy, rich drink we know today. It was a derivative of a 17th century ale called nog. The Irish celebrated each Christmas Eve by drinking a pint or so, for in their country, all pubs were closed on Christmas Day. So they wanted to get a heads up and make sure they had enough for Christmas Day too. That doesn't sound like the Mick I am at all. What became popular holiday gifts during the 19th century after the Brothers Grimm released? This is so bad. This one is obvious. Released the story of Hansel and Gretel. What became popular holiday gifts? This one hopefully will be easy after that. Gingerbread houses. Baked child meat. Gingerbread houses. Kitchen witches. Oh, I bet you that's true too. Ugly ducklings. Gingerbread houses. Who introduced the singing of carols to holiday church services? Now, I will say, I guess this one kind of depends because... No, that's true. It's not the first one. It was Saint Francis of Assisi. Saint Francis of Assisi. Protestants, people who needed Jesus. So the rest of these I'm just going to read because they're interesting facts. At midnight on the Christmas Eve of 1914, German gunfire suddenly halted and was replaced by the singing of carols. At daybreak, the German soldiers began to call out Merry Christmas to their foes. Before long, both sides declared a truce, shook hands with each other, and exchanged gifts of food, cigarettes, and liquor. The merriment and goodwill lasted for 3 days. I love that story. I always love that story that they set aside their differences. I mean, if they can do it in the midst of the war, then we should be able to set aside our differences for a couple days during this Yuletide goodwill towards men kind of season, right? Irving Berlin wrote the popular carol I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas in 1942, specifically for the movie Holiday Inn, in which Bing Crosby starred. 2 years after World War II ended, the people of Oslo, Norway, sent a holiday tree to the city of Westminster in appreciation of the British support. This tradition continues today. That's where the city of Westminster gets their holiday tree, is the people of Oslo, Norway. It's always fucking Cromwell. But then the generals ordered the shooting to start up again. I know it. Isn't that horrible? I can't imagine after like exchanging gifts. Can you imagine you exchanged gifts? You looked this person in the eye, told them Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and then started shooting that at them again. Had to be mentally exhausting. The image of Santa as we know it today was popularized by none other than the Coca-Cola Company. Along the shores of the Mississippi River, especially along Louisiana coastline, bonfires are lit on Christmas Eve. Their purpose is to guide the way for Father Christmas. Yes, we just got one and the people didn't like it. What? The people didn't like it? And so Norway is sending another. The people said, we don't want your gift. It's not good enough. Send us a different one. That's terrible. That is not the gift-giving tradition. The steptoe and son even referenced it. Oh, yes, I did hear that. The custom of Santa eating cookies on Christmas Eve originated in Germany, where trees were decorated with fruit, flour, and sweet confections. After leaving gifts for good children, he'd simply help himself to the goodies on the tree. Santa's fur-trimmed suit, his cap, and his cloak were fashioned after the clothing of the Dutch Saint Nicholas, who wore a bishop's mitre and vestments. I know someone living in Norway. I know someone from Norway living in London, and she said it was a bad tree too. Really? I know, but to send it back? That's awful. Who, don't you remember Charlie Brown's Christmas tree? It was kind of ugly, but it was cute because it was his. Grandma's fault. He was still angry over Stamford Bridge. And finally, St. Nick doesn't get a vacation after the winter holidays, since he's also the patron saint responsible for Greece, Russia, sailors, merchants, pawnbrokers, bakers, prisoners, children, and wolves. He's very busy year round. Yay! All right, so that was your trivia and fun facts for the night. I have a little less than half an hour, and we will be back for the very last Tarot Tuesday individual card that we'll be doing. And then after that, we continue Tarot Tuesday still, but it'll turn into not individual cards. We'll be learning how to read spreads and tarot tips and that kind of stuff from here on out. There is a giveaway tonight, so don't miss it because you will have to be present to win. I'm not even telling you how you're going to win until we start. So, yay! I'll see you in a little less than half an hour. And I got my admins, I tried so hard to get rid of some of the cards, but because it's the last one, I'm like, but I have so many and it's a good card. All right, I'll still try. I love you. We'll see you soon.